this is vacation life. It's kind of what it's like. Get plans, change them up, do a bunch of different stuff, and that's what we're doing. So hold on tight, everybody. What is happening, y'all? So today starts my vacation, and that is like the best feeling in the world. It's the best day in the world when you have a whole week of not having to do your 8 to 5 job. So I'm starting with burning some boxes. Loads of fun, right? No, we're this is going to be a staycation for the most part. We're going to be doing some day trips. So we had originally planned on going to Gatlinburg this week. Well, we got dairy cows now, right? So because that was so short, we didn't have time and didn't really want to leave them for that long since they're still fairly new, which they've been fantastic. We've had them over a week now. Things are like they were always here. However, we wanted to make sure that we're here. We're the only ones that really know how to milk them. That's within our little realm that we have. So we're just gonna do a staycation. However, the biggest thing that people tell you is once you get Jersey cows is that you're tied down to your farm. And so we are going to show you some processes and ways to where that's not accurately true. Yes, you have to have some dedication here and you need to be the primary one here, but don't make it think that you're stuck forever. We are going to stay the night one night somewhere and do some things, but we're going to be the ones milking all week, and it's going to be pretty cool and pretty creative on how we're going to do that. But the most important thing is I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be with the family and not have to worry about opening that laptop. Best week of the year, vacation week. All right, well, we got Big Bernie's over there, and I kind of keep an eye on it. Thought we'd do a garden tour. We've been talking so much about animals, and we haven't got to show y'all the garden updates. So I think it's time. Before we do that though, thank you all so much for wishing Wyatt a happy birthday on social media. He knows how to read. So we gave him the phone and let him read all of your all's comments. He appreciated it so much. He was tickled to death to see so many people wishing him a happy birthday. He thinks he's a little famous kid or whatever, but it really made him excited. And we had a blast at his birthday party. Straight chaos with that water slide, and we really did have like a mini tornado come. We had our big tree line right here, a couple of trees falling to the road. And it's another reason why we love this town so daggone much. I mean, before we could even get out there to check what was going on, because I was checking on the animals, it had already been cut up by some people that lived here and taken off the road. It's just awesome. You gotta love living in a little small country town. Most all of us got a chainsaw in the truck, and you never know when you need it, like times like that. So if any by chance you're watching and the person that cut that up, thank you. It's awesome how a small town community can really just gather together. But anyways, Wyatt's birthday was a success. The power came back on. We did have fun, and it was a great day. But now it's time to get this garden going. Okay, let's start with our first row here. So these are ground cherries that are getting a little yellowing, but they're doing amazing. They're really big, and we have had so much water. A lot of the yellowing is honestly from too much water, which is so weird for this time of the month. Usually by mid-July, we're in a drought. So I'll take the rain that we got going on, even if it is too much. It's better than not having any. And another great success is all of our squash. Y'all, we have had it running out of our ears, and this is probably the longest we've gone without having squash bugs show up just yet. Now I'm knocking on wood because they'll probably come anytime now, but man, great squash year. That's a lot of verdict of it being the first time this squash has ever been planted here, because it's a brand new property. They didn't grow it here beforehand. So we got lucky. I mean, it took a little bit longer for the squash bugs to find us, but they still will come. But we're just taking the zucchini and squash while we can. Over here is all the viney stuff, and I had showed you all these pumpkins, and man, they're like doubling size almost every day. Look at this guy. He is so big. We got another one right there, and another one right here. They are giant. And I pulled this weed tarp back because it seemed like it was constricting the plant some. So I pulled it back, and they are actually doing really well and really starting to vine out. This is a mix of sugar baby watermelons, cantaloupes, honeydews, Kajari melons, such like that. So it's doing a lot better now that we pulled that tarp back, and I'm really happy with how well they're vining. Hopefully, because you know we have quite a long growing season here, we'll have some nice close to end of summer, early fall melons. Like there's a watermelon right there. See it? So it's no secret, I've mentioned in a few other garden tours that this side, you can tell the soil isn't as good as where the main area is. So that's something to keep an eye on for next year. However, it looks like we'll get some good melons out of it. The peppers are doing better than we've ever had. It's been a great pepper year. You're gonna see a lot of things laying over again because of that bad storm that we had come through. But we are really getting some stuff pop up down here. And then these are the Habaneros, which they're starting to come in. We have some few other ones over here. But here's all kinds of jalapenos. Those are the Craig's Grande jalapenos. And we're getting some monster bell peppers. All kinds of banana peppers. And it's just, the list goes on and on. Most of these are all bananas. And then as we get down here into these ones with the purple vines, these are called the Roulette Heatless Habaneros from Hoss Tools. And they are loaded in there. So you're just gonna wait for them to turn color and they're gonna taste like a habanero without the heat. And I know that sounds crazy, but they're so good. But yeah, it's just about biggest pepper plants we've probably had at this time of year in any gardening season that we've had so far. Now tomatoes, the pride and joy of most people's gardens, right? Not a real good tomato year for us, and I don't know why. Well, I do. It's the soil. It's raw, fresh soil that's never really been gardened. So that's partial of the reason. Pests, we've had a lot more pests this year than we normally have. But they're growing and we're getting tomatoes, just not as many as we thought we were. Look at these German Johnsons. They're huge. I'll tell you the one plant that I think has been doing the best are the mortgage lifters. Now that one's, looks like it was fasciated and kind of growing weird, but we have grown a lot of mortgage lifters this year. We've gotten quite a few of them that have came out. And you can see we've got some pretty good sized tomatoes on here, but the tomato plants like these here, not doing the hottest. All the cherries are doing pretty great. But man, it's just not been the most fantastic tomato year, but that's okay. We've learned a lot from it. And hopefully your alls are doing a little bit better. Jen's in her garden, which we'll show you here in a minute, are doing a lot better than mine over here. And then the beat up zinnia patch, they're still very beautiful and very pretty. But man, that storm really did a number on them. So I need to come over here and start doing some cutting, doing some deadheading, and get them bushing back out again. Cosmos also took a little bit of a beating during the storm, but they still have some prettiness going on. Green bean patch, completely taken over by weeds. 100% taken over. We'll do that differently next year. Okay, timeout time from our garden because we went and got a bunch of feed. Gotta get the feed out of the truck just in case it decides to rain again because we're getting all kinds of daggone rain. So let's do it. Hi, Daisy. You did good milking this morning. What's up, my girl Flossie? What's up, my girl? I know. You get jealous when I talk to Flossie, don't you? What's up, T-Bone and Hank?
The barn.
But like here goes Hank now. It's like a chain reaction.
Oh my lord.
Y'all, you have like 7 acres out there. Go do that out there, not in the barn. Flossie, did mommy give you treats?
I did.
Did mommy give you treats? Huh?
Sweet girl.
Sweet girl. All right, since we're here, I thought I'd give you a little rundown real quick. So when you're in a barn, you can't really have bags of feed laying around, especially when you got like loose turkeys and chickens like we do. that's like the least of your worries, because you're also gonna get mice that come when you have open bags. So it's good to put them in something. So we have been looking for 50-gallon drums that have a top hook that had something non-chemical based that's been holding inside of them, but it's like pulling teeth trying to find one of those.
Yeah.
So we finally found these buckets at Tractor Supply. A little bit more expensive than buying a 50-gallon drum. However, we needed some kind of solution because we were only able to get enough at the feed store that would fit in like those totes over there.
Yeah.
And that wasn't cool.
Thankfully, it's right down the street, but we still don't want to be running every other day.
Right. So we got this. So here is our goat feed buckets. And now, again, to remember, this is going to last us a while because their primary feed source is grass and hay. But this is the supplemental, especially when you have dairy animals. They need a good source. Yeah, they need a good source of protein. So both jugs here are goat feed. And then over here is for our cattle. So what we're doing is we're giving them what their previous owner at Little Feet had on top of alfalfa pellet. Now our plan is to slowly move them to just alfalfa and not have any of this, because alfalfa has enough protein and we want them to be 100% grass. So alfalfa gives them the protein for their dairy on top of the hay and the grass that they're eating, and we can get away from any kind of actual protein feed. So that's the plan there. And then over here we got horse feed, which we hardly use, dog food, and then some goat feed run over. But that allows us to have a lot.
So you said goat, but this is also poultry because this is what we feed our poultry to.
Very good point. And a lot of people ask that. So the most complicated animal you have is what everybody gets to eat. So this is kind of a goat specific sweet feed, basically, is what it is, but it's really high in protein. So everybody can eat that, including the pig, besides the horse. So since we put Tilly in there, that complicated it just a little bit, because she's the only one now that can't eat that. And then we also don't want our animals, the goats, eating the horse food because it's too low in copper, which is one of the big things that the goats need. So Tilly gets fed in her stall by herself while everybody else eats. And then once everybody's done eating, Tilly gets to get out of her stall and then go eat grass.
It sounds complicated, but it's really not.
It's not complicated. It's not at all. It's just for someone on the outside not doing this every day, I can see how it'd be a little complicated. Hey now. I hear you over there. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. So yeah, so there's your quick rundown on feed that we have going on. It's always good to have a good amount. You never know when you might get stuck at the house and you won't be able to feed your animals.
Okay, now to the barnyard. I gotta get this side of the chili with the spray real quick. Okay, so flies are bad this summer, obviously. I make a fly spray. It's apple cider vinegar, water, and a bunch of essential oils. I'll link it below, but every single morning, everybody gets sprayed, and it helps so much. It's unreal. Obviously, everybody's not gonna have 0 flies on them, but it is a huge, drastic change from not using it at all. You gotta get them when they come. They don't necessarily like it just because it freaks them out a little.
Well, goats don't like being wet in general.
Right. But it helps so much for the cows, for the goats, for the dogs, everyone. Miss Tilly. Goats are just scared of everything. They don't like anything. So that part's a job, but you just gotta chase them around and get them. And the cows don't mind it at all. They'll stand there and let you spray them all day, but it's awesome. Even though it's a chore, but it's great for them. It's great for you when you come in. You don't have to worry about the flies and the horse flies and all that. And it's better for their health because they don't have things biting them that could potentially have diseases and parasites and all that fun stuff.
Got her did.
Got her did.
Bye, Tilly.
Sweet girl. If you're wondering, she's doing wonderful.
Yeah.
She is now fit in with everyone. They don't love her, but they are accepting her.
That's right. They do enjoy. They don't run away anymore.
Yeah, and she loves them.
As Anna said, let me get out of here.
But they're not running.
Right. Actually, her and Dolly have started to get along well.
Yeah, Dolly has taken her on as one of her own, basically. Yep. She herds her up to the barn when she feels like there's danger, and it's just really nice.
Yep. Okay, I know I said we was gonna go on a garden tour. Well, you got to see mine. And now it's getting later in the day, and because we're doing some like day trip stuff, there's a project that I really got to get going, and that is linseed oiling the fence because it has gone too long, and just due to other things happening, I haven't been able to get it. But if I don't get it, those boards, all that money we spent on getting that fencing up is going to start rotting down. So need to make that happen, need to start making some progress, and hopefully get it done by the time vacation's off. So instead of finishing that garden tour, which it might happen, you just never know, we might get it in there. Right now it's hot anyways over there. We're gonna start doing some fencing, okay? So y'all just, this is vacation life. It's kind of what it's like. Get plans, change them up, do a bunch of different stuff, and that's what we're doing. So hold on tight, everybody. All right, let's talk about boiled linseed oil real quick. I just got this off Amazon. I'll link it down below if you're interested in getting it. But the reason we're choosing boiled linseed oil is if you've been around any horse farms, you'll see that they paint them. They do all that good stuff with either black or white paint. But we really love natural wood color, and linseed oil protects your wood and also brings out the natural color of it. So that's the main reason we chose that. Other reason is it's a more organic material to use rather than some kind of stain or anything like that that's going to be very chemical based. So we appreciate that, especially since we're trying to be as organic as we possibly can around here. To my knowledge, there's nothing that's not organic, but you know, I can't say it officially because I don't know. So that's why we chose this. Little pre-warning, linseed oil can combust if left in hot areas. So like your rags that you're going to be using, you don't want to wad them up and throw them down and keep them piled up in a hot area. They could burn. So when you get done, you want to lay these out, you want to wash them, you want to lay them out to dry, and then you want to store everything in a cool, dry spot. If you store even the containers themselves in a hot area, they could burst into flames. Shouldn't be anything too out of the ordinary. If you're dealing with any kind of oils, stains, stuff like that, you want to keep them in a cool, dry spot because there is always that chance. But just wanted to make sure that was known, and it is time to stop talking and start working. All I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour some in just this little bitty clean bucket that I have. I don't even know what was in it, but as you can tell, it was clean. And then that way I can carry it easy. I'm going to be using the paintbrush and a rag. I'll see which one works the best, and we'll just go from there. All right, we had to take Ray to gymnastics, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them done, and you can tell the difference. See, undone, done. I mean, it is beautiful. It brings out such a vibrant color of the wood. However, taking a break for the evening because we're gonna finish that garden tour. We'll start here because I actually don't think y'all seen these in a while, but this is one of the cherry bushes. It's getting really big. Here's the other cherry bush. We're having a little beetle attack, a little bitey bites, but they're still doing really good and growing pretty fast. And over here are our 2 blueberry bushes. There's number 1, and here's number 2. So the thing about those, anything that popped up, any blueberries, any action like that, we picked off this year because we want them to focus on growth. Jen's throwing some rotten cherries over the fence to the dogs right here. It's funny. But yeah, they're doing great. Great first year. I'm really liking having them in the raised beds. It's going to really pay off, and also make sure that I don't mow over them. What are you doing over here in your jungle?
Picking cherry tomatoes.
Picking cherry tomatoes. So the storm took this guy down. Yeah. It's bending straight over. But for the most part, the tobacco sticks are working just fine, and we got tomatoes everywhere. So these, what are these, babe?
Sun gold cherries. They're
cherries.
Probably my favorite cherry tomato this year. A lot of them are cracked because of the rain.
Yeah.
And slow harvesters.
Slow harvesters. That's the thing about cherries, though. Like cherries are normally your first tomatoes that come in, and you're really excited and you eat them. And then when all the tomatoes start coming in, next thing you know, you have like 1,000 cherry tomatoes that are ready all at once. So sometimes they get left behind. However, when you do have an abundance of cherry tomatoes, what we like to do is dehydrate them and have them as like, I guess they're not technically sun-dried tomatoes like what you would get in pasta, but that's what they taste like. And they're really stinking good, like throwing pastas and different stuff like that. And that keeps it from the dogs eating them. But look at these persimmons she's got going on here. They are ginormous. She's got one down here that is starting to blush and turn. But over in this area, we actually pulled them off earlier today. But she has some granny cantrells that are really getting big all over the place, and it's just a jungle. So one thing that we told you all is that we were doing like less, what's my word? Less.
Variety?
No, trimming.
Trimming.
Like, that's not the one I'm looking for.
Pruning.
Pruning, thank you, less pruning. Goodness. Less pruning this year and trying to let our tomatoes just kind of take over and do its thing.
It's happening.
Yeah, it really is happening. Like, you look behind Jan, including this birdhouse gourd, my gosh. But we're just seeing, and so far no disease has set in by any means, and which is a good thing. And we do have a lot more tomatoes on the vine, so that's exciting. And these are all indeterminates, not determinants, by the way. So that's why it's even more iffy with the pruning. All right, talk to me, babe. What are you seeing in your pepper bed?
What color are these supposed to be?
They're gonna be red.
Okay.
The Heatless Habaneros.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be red.
A lot of jalapenos.
There is a lot of jalapenos up on here. Look at there. You got them absolutely everywhere. We're about to have jalapenos running out of our ears. You can probably give these a little bit longer because they're the grandes, so they can last a little bit longer.
There's a bunch of bananas over here.
And you got a bunch of, wow, you got a ginormous banana. Look at this guy.
Wow.
And then those are gypsies. And these we marked habanero, but they are not habaneros, babe.
No, I don't know what happened.
I don't know what it is, but because we marked it a habanero, I'm really scared to even try to eat it because I don't know what it is. But it looks more like a bell pepper.
Is this good?
All right, ground cherry time. They're literally everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Here, I'll get them.
There's so many. I love ground cherries, but one can only eat so many ground cherries.
When they start coming in, man, they're just everywhere.
They're everywhere. They're all over the ground.
We've had a lot of
good, though.
we've had a lot of friends come though that haven't planted them, and they've been tasting them. My goodness, they're falling in love.
Yeah.
If y'all have never grown ground cherries, I promise you need to. They're so good.
Yeah, this poor bed though. The storms have really taken this bed over. Poor things all laying down, but they're still growing. So that's a pretty pot of goodies. Bananas, cherry tomatoes, ground cherries, bell peppers. Looks good. So I just picked a bunch of chocolate mint last week and dehydrated a bunch, and then I hung some too. The lemon balm I need to pick, and I think I'm going to do another tincture out of it. The dill needs to be clipped and taken inside to dry. I have been drying some and then using some. Chamomile's doing good. Hopefully better next year though. Definitely had better chamomile years. The mint's good. And all the herbs over here are doing really good. We're just picking and drying as we can. And there's the loofah. She's finally growing. Not as big as that guy, but we're getting there. She's doing good. No loofahs yet, but we do have some flowers. And this was supposed to be 2 beds of bush beans, but those must have been pole beans.
That was on me. That was on my fault.
They have little tendrils coming out everywhere. So,
but that's okay. They'll just they'll tendril out and do their thing. They'll still grow beans,
they'll
but
do something.
They're looking a lot better than the bush beans. And honestly, I think the bush beans problem is this birdhouse gourd.
Yes.
I mean, it's so big for one plant. Could you imagine what the root system looks like down in there? That's taking up all the room for those bush beans. So, yeah, it's got to be the problem.
And we'll have beans.
All right, come to my private layer, the birdhouse gourd layer. Here we go. So once you enter, it is birdhouse gourd heaven, and these things are ginormous. Like, that's my hand, a good adult male size hand, and these things are ginormous. I guess I didn't realize how big they actually were, but we have several everywhere in here. A bunch of baby ones. There's that one actually looks like it has blossom end rot going on. Maybe not, but baby ones everywhere. Here's a medium-sized one. But my goodness, this thing, I mean, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing how much it took over with just one. And we knew that they do this, but I had no idea it was gonna be this big. Oh, cucumber. So yeah, for anyone watching, that's one full-size cattle panel, that's one birdhouse gourd, and it is now taking over everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. It's even found the lights and it's starting to go this way. I can guarantee probably in 2 days it'll be over here to the loofah gourd if we don't keep it down. But wow, lordy day. So you did end up getting a garden tour. It's pretty exciting. And a lot of that, you got garden tour, you got like some animal maintenance, and then you got to see how to treat wood. It's just a whole big old bundle package in this video. But y'all, this was the first day of vacation. Get excited for this week. We're gonna have all kinds of wild videos that are gonna be shooting y'all's way. Gonna be a little bit out of the norm since I don't have to do my day job.
That's right.
And it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to down below.
We love y'all.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.